Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Playmakerz Live podcast. This is your NFL edition, and pretty much you know what we're going to talk about. There was a huge game this past weekend, and we crowned the Super Bowl champion, so not taking too much of your time. You know me down at the Playmaker Sounds out here in Jacksonville, Florida. You know my co-host, my partner, my brother Dallas Glenn out in Pensacola. What's going on?
Doing good, man. You know, hey, these things happen, Kyle Shanahan. These things happen.
So pretty much we gonna recap what happened down in Miami, Florida with Super Bowl 54 between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll talk about some offseason stuff to get you prepared for what Dallas is going to bring this offseason. So everything sounds good to you, sir?
Yeah, it sounds great to me.
So without further ado, let's recap Super Bowl 54. The San Francisco 49ers, NFC champions against the Kansas City Chiefs, ALCS champions. By the way, before I go any further, the entire Super Bowl was great, Dallas.
Oh, bro, like I was actually in awe of Patrick Mahomes. I've never seen a quarterback look so crisp. I've never seen such crisp quarterback play.
When I say the entire, I mean from pregame to postgame, including halftime, was great.
Well, I didn't watch like the pregame. I didn't even watch the halftime show. I watched it with my wife because she wanted to watch it, so she did that whole thing but you know, it wasn't as bad as some people are saying. I just think some people, I don't know what people want nowadays.
Yolanda Adams had the kids with her singing the America the Beautiful, Demi Lovato. They did a great job singing the national anthems.
Yolanda Adams and Demi Lovato getting all the pregame gigs still. I don't even know the last time Yolanda released an album, but she's still doing the pregames.
Don't even get me started with what J-Lo and Shakira did at halftime.
Yeah, well, you know.
Good thing I'm not married right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a great thing for you.
Matter of fact, the commercial when they had with the little kid running the football.
Mm-hmm.
They actually say that, and he actually ran the football into the stadium.
Huh. Well then,
that was a beautiful moment to start the game. NFL, y'all did a great job with that one. I give y'all kudos to that one. That was a great one. But now we get to football, where do we begin with the champs or do we begin with the losers?
Well, you can't have a champion without a loser, Darnell.
So, San Francisco 49ers come walk in Miami. You know, they, as we talked about, they controlled the Vikings throughout the whole game, and they continue their dominance over Green Bay. So now they walk into Miami feeling good about themselves. You know, Jimmy G, we knew Jimmy G was going to throw more than 8 passes because there's no way he was going to be Kansas City just throwing 8 passes.
That's what Frank Clark said.
And turns out you weren't going to be Kansas City throwing the ball anyway.
Made 200 yards of checkdowns.
So, let's just do it like this. So, first quarter, San Francisco, 3 points, Kansas City, 7 points. Second quarter, San Francisco, 7 points, Kansas City, 3 points. We have a 10-10 game at halftime, Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Patrick Mahomes is struggling. Jimmy G is managing the game quite well. Debo Samuel around here taking in the rounds for 30-plus yards. Most are around here trying to average about 5 yards a carry. Nick Bosa is just whooping Eric Fisher's behind all night long.
As usual when it comes to an Eric Fisher game, but, you know.
So, first half, San Fran looking pretty good. Even though it was a tie game to get ball started second half, you know, hey. Well, San Fran doing something right about now. Third quarter wise, Kansas City can't score a point. San Francisco puts up 10. We are at 20-10 going to the fourth quarter, Dallas.
At this point, you think to yourself, oh my God, Andy Reid done found a way to thwart even Patrick Mahomes. 3 straight playoff games, 3 straight double-digit deficits.
There's no way that Kansas City Chiefs can do this. This is the San Francisco 49ers we're talking about here. Like the top rushing attack in all the football right here. Jimmy G don't got to do much.
Pass rushes, 3rd and longs, tick, 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 tick.
But there are 4 quarters into a game, Dallas.
4 quarters, and you got to play every single one of them.
The game doesn't end at 45 minutes. It ends at 60 minutes.
And you play it to win it.
The question that we all want to going into the game, Jimmy G, are you the man for the 49ers? My question was, Jimmy Garoppolo. You sat behind Bill Belichick. You sat behind Tom Brady. What did you learn? That guy named Patrick Mahomes. He already had two interceptions. He ain't doing too good, and all of a sudden, Jimmy G wants to throw balls with his eyes closed.
He wants to shovel bump. He wants to shovel dump him with both hands during a sack.
He wants to not see George Kittle in the middle and throw the ball to the outside.
George Kittle was not happy about that, by the way. He did throw to the fullback, though. I will give him credit for that.
All in all, Kansas City scored 21 points in the 4th quarter. While San Fran didn't score not another single point.
Before you knew it, it was over.
Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions because they beat the 49ers 31-20.
A team that hadn't been to the Super Bowl since Super Bowl IV just beat a legacy franchise with a former Patriots quarterback.
Yeah, I know we methodically just went through the game like that, but we got to make it dramatic some type of way. So the question is, Dallas, do you blame Kyle Shanahan? Do you blame Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean,
do you just blame the fact that Patrick Mahomes on the other side?
Well, for the 4th quarter, I don't think you have a choice. When somebody busts 21 points on you in 1 quarter, I mean, I think though, I think Patrick Mahomes, as he got Super Bowl MVP, I think he should get a ton of credit because, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was happening. Again, I felt going in that the 49ers were better than the Texans and the Titans. And I felt that, the 49ers were a team that if they got Kansas City down by double digits, they could run the ball and hold on. Key words, Darnell. Run the ball and hold on. Now, granted, you can't just go off the box score. Kansas City's run defense was more than decent, especially when you look at the final numbers. But there are also times where San Francisco was busting off double-digit runs on 1st down. There are also times where, again, Kyle Shanahan started to panic and started to feel like Jimmy G had to catch up in the 4th quarter, when in actuality, he started the 4th quarter up double digits. The leading carrier only had 12 carries Darnell. Deebo Samuel had more rushing yards than Tevin Coleman. Deebo Samuel had 3 carries. A wide receiver had 3 carries. Tevin Coleman only had 5. I don't even see Matt Breida on this box score. Jimmy Garoppolo having 31 pass attempts, Darnell. I'm not really concerned with that. I feel like, before this whole Smash Mouth thing started, 49ers were recognized as like a West Coast team. Kyle Shanahan was recognized like a West Coast offense coach. So, I feel like they could have got George Kittle involved in the game more. Of course, they should have. But you also have to think to yourself, okay, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, are you taking away George Kittle on play action? Or are you taking away the run game? They chose George Kittle, and it wasn't working until the 3rd quarter. I think we can agree on that. That being said, though, Darnell, it sucks because just like the Atlanta Falcons year where Matt Ryan won MVP, this entire season, it looked like Kyle Shanahan learned the one thing he was supposed to learn. He got his defensive end. He got his hellish pass rusher. He has a solid cornerback. I mean, he has first-round draft picks all along the D-line. I feel like they did their job. Damian Williams squeaking out for that last touchdown run to basically seal the game, that padded a lot of his stats, and that gave him an extra touchdown. But, I mean, before that last, death blow with, a minute and a half left or so, or a minute 04 left, it was even. It was Patrick Mahomes was clearly the MVP. But Kyle Shanahan being up 10, being up double digits, Jimmy Garoppolo finishing with 31 pass attempts, and your leading rusher only has 12 carries. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't the reason they were up 10, Darnell. Their defense is really the reason they were up 10. And the crazier thing to think is, again, just like the other Super Bowl, there's a difference between when you can kick a field goal and extend the lead and make them feel like they have to work that much harder, and getting three and out, punt, stall drive. I don't know what it is with Kyle Shanahan, but now that Andy Reid is running a ring, I mean, maybe he's the new Andy Reid. Maybe he's the next coach that's going to have a very long and successful and fulfilling career. And then after the next 15 years, we're going to start wondering, when the hell is Kyle Shanahan going to get a ring? Because, I don't know, I have to look at how much his dad had to learn in Super Bowls. Granted, he had a Hall of Fame running back and a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with having double-digit leads. I don't know what it is with coming in with solid rushing attacks and everything, and then wanting to turn it over to the quarterback when, in actuality, in the playoffs, you win running the ball and playing defense. I don't get why he picks when he's up by 10 to start passing a crap ton and giving the ball back. First time he gave it back to Tom Brady, Darnell. This time he kept giving it back to Patrick Mahomes.
You putting the onus on the coach and not the quarterback.
I can't put the onus on Jimmy Garoppolo because Kyle Shanahan has had how many games with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback? He had 5 games in the 2017 season. Realized he had something, paid him, as he should have, because, it's hard to find something in the NFL. But those first 3 weeks where he got his ACL torn, you had to learn how to play without him. You had to learn who you had and who you didn't have. Then you had the preseason this preseason. Knock rust off my ass. You had the preseason this season. You had the first couple weeks this season. And yeah, you had the Arizona games. Yeah, you had New Orleans games. But you know what you have in Jimmy Garoppolo. You realize that Jimmy Garoppolo, when it comes to actual snaps, is a very young quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo has time because he hasn't been taking that many hits, being on the bench for so long. But he's not a Patrick Mahomes that had an MVP year the first year as a starter, then came back and won a Super Bowl. He's not Aaron Rodgers, who sat for 3 years behind a Hall of Famer. He had 2 years in New England, left, got hurt, and now we're finally seeing what he is and what he can be. So I can't really put it on Jimmy Garoppolo because it's bro, Kyle Shanahan, come on, bro. You just had a game where you only let him pass the ball 8 times. You know what you have in your quarterback.
Okay. We're going to take a break right there because when we come back, I think I'm going to give my answer to the same question. We'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and the question is, do you blame Kyle Shanahan or do you blame Jimmy Garoppolo? Dallas, at first, I was one side. But I changed my mind. I'm going 50-50 here. I'm blaming both of them. All the points you said about Kyle Shanahan and everybody else like Marcus Spears and Stephen A. Smith and all these guys on TV said, I agree. Kyle Shanahan's been outscored 46-0 in the fourth quarter in the 2 Super Bowls he coached in.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, that's that. Was it a 31 unanswered by 34 unanswered by the Patriots? And then the 21 by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, Kyle Shanahan, you don't have a good record with leads in the fourth quarter in Super Bowls. So, yes, all y'all points are valid. But Dallas, there was somebody who was a part of an organization that we say has the best coach who ever coached and one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me, Jimmy Garoppolo, that you couldn't show what you learned from Bill Belichick or Tom Brady in the Super Bowl?
Hey, maybe what he learned was don't get in the way of a good win. I mean, maybe he learned from 2001 Tom Brady and not 2007 Tom Brady. I mean, I definitely see the argument for blaming a Jimmy Garoppolo. As somebody who is a fan of a franchise of a quarterback who just stole a hell of a lot of money because of what he did as a backup in relief in another Super Bowl winning franchise, I get it. It looks like he's a swindler, a cheat, a charlatan. But I mean, 4,600 entered in 2 different Super Bowls. An MVP quarterback and a future Hall of Famer at wide receiver. A tight end who was blossoming. A fullback who actually is looking like he might find a way to get into the Hall. I mean, I haven't seen a fullback utilized the way that Kyle Shanahan utilized Juszczyk on Sunday in a long, long time. You're talking maybe Mike Tolbert and Laurent McClain, but they ended up getting listed as running backs by the end of their careers because they actually ran the ball. They stopped blocking. So, I mean, it's tricky because, hell, you got a hot hand at fullback. You don't call more passes to the fullback. George Kittle's starting to get disgruntled on the sidelines. Only has 4 receptions for 36 yards. I would have to watch the film again because I don't know if they were running zone or who they were putting on him. But, I mean, it's a big body, man. Didn't even seem to give a lot of opportunities. And then there was the OPI. That didn't help. I don't care what nobody say. That's offensive pass interference. Shut up. Stop complaining. Yeah, it's OPI. It's OPI. Just like the Harrison Smith one was OPI. The Harrison Smith was OPI. That was the refs putting the final nail in the coffin of their year-long protest against the Saints. And it was a year-long protest, and everybody needs to understand it and shut up. Because I've heard way crazier conspiracy theories. But it was OPI. But hey, George Kittle, that OPI was basically the visual representation of I'm tired of this. It's a Super Bowl. Finally. This isn't, some wide receiver underrunning a deep route when you see they split double coverage. That's George Kittle saying, I want the ball by any means necessary. And Jimmy Garoppolo should have gave him the ball more. But, go ahead.
Let me read off these stats real quick. Patrick Mahomes, 26 for 42, 286, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 9 carries, 29 yards. Really, it's like 50-something yards because he lost like 15 of them on that final drive, trying to take knees and stuff. Touchdown. Quarterback rating of 61.6. That's not Patrick Mahomes like numbers. Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 for 31, 219, touchdown, 2 interceptions, quarterback rating of 40.6. You might say, well, that's typically a Jimmy Garoppolo type game. If you watch the game, Dallas, allow me to recall the first interception he threw. His eyes were closed. why are you a quarterback in the Super Bowl throwing passes with your eyes closed?
Was that Batman Frank Clark coming?
I don't know who was coming. He did get hit, but he was scared. He threw the ball with his eyes closed. And the Rashad Breeden was like, oh, that's a gift for me.
Ah, yes, the duck that he tried to throw away, but just didn't have enough juice on it. Mind you, both picks were floating ducks. Both picks, if he just guns it to his checkdowns feet. Like, Jimmy, what the hell is with the whole deep throwaway while you're still in the pocket? Son, check it down to your running back's foot.
I don't, somebody recalled him because the only person I can think of is Eli Manning right now. I don't even think, did Eli Manning throw that ball with his eyes closed?
Nah, when it came to Super Bowls, Eli Manning came to play. Now that I think about it, Eli's only been to those 2 Super Bowls, right?
Yes.
Well, Eli Manning is undefeated in the Super Bowl, unlike his brother. And unlike Jimmy Garoppolo. So, no. Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, Eli Manning got it done against the Patriots twice. Jimmy Garoppolo had his eyes closed against a team that hadn't been since Super Bowl 4.
Throwing the ball with your eyes closed.
So,
When you did close your eyes. Third. Okay, it's the drive. They hand the ball to Mosley. He gets 5 yards. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Second down. They go play action pass. He's finna hit George Kittle. Chris Jones knocks the ball down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we ain't gonna blame nobody on the 49ers. Chris Jones made a play. But matter of fact, one of the guys we were looking for the defense of Kansas City, he made a play. He knocked the ball down. Mm-hmm. 3rd and 5. Dallas, when I seen the formation, I already knew who the target was supposed to be.
Mm-mm-mm.
It was the tight triple bunch on the far side of the field. I think it was Emmanuel Sanders, Bourne, 84, and George Kittle. I already knew what the route was. I already knew what George Kittle route was. George Kittle did that out and come back in route. I seen the formation. I said, George Kittle, wide open. And guess who was wide open in the middle of the field?
George Kittle.
Where did Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball at?
I don't know, but George Kittle was wondering too.
If there's any other quarterback in that position, they know George Kittle's going to be open.
Lord knows Kirk Cousins would have forced it to his number 1 receiver no matter what.
You can see it. Kansas City was in man, and somebody had to go get George Kittle. The route George Kittle was finna run, I don't care who ran that route. You was going to be open because you're nothing beneath it but 5 yards for a first down. Instead of you throwing to a guy that's in front of you, you threw it to the outside where nobody is at. Now, there's some of y'all who's trying to run a why I sound like this about the 49ers when I should be happy that they lost. I hate bad play. I know if I seen it before the play start, how many other people seen it before the play start? It's that go. It's the go. That I'm putting it like this: the play that Kyle Shanahan called on them. It was the go. It was the go-to Madden play.
Oh God! Oh God!
It's that play. You say, you know what? I ain't going for the deep shot. I just need. Let me get this first down. That way I can keep it going. Then I can do my 2-minute offense. That was that play when you audible. You tell one of your receivers, all right, you gonna do a slant right here, because you know it's gonna be open. That's what George Kittle did, and Jimmy Garoppolo did not. So I don't know how he didn't see it. Everybody want to blame Kyle Shanahan. Good, y'all can do that. I'm looking at the guy who was hit behind Tom Brady for like 2 Super Bowls.
I mean, again, $140 million. Some people would say, well, we got to the Super Bowl and we were 4-12 and 6 and yeah, and that's well and good. But I mean, bro, like, okay, so what's it gonna be then? You got to the Super Bowl, and Kyle Shanahan's only been there since like 2016. Jimmy Garoppolo's only been there since like 2017. So whose fault is it? Who is the one that needs to improve the most, 49ers Nation? Because both men were a huge problem. And those are the two positions where you cannot have a huge problem. Coaches' contracts are guaranteed, and that is a lot of money. You done paid that quarterback just to trade or cut him. Whether the guaranteed money is there or not, Darnell, there's these thing called salary cap hits. So you can have the worst contract in the world, but if the CBA and the salary cap structure sees a big ass number, it doesn't matter how much that they're actually getting. That cap hit's coming.
You know what? Check this out. Because you talk about the running backs, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, he most of 12 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown. Tevin Coleman, 5 carries, 28 yards. Deebo Samuel, 3 carries, 53 yards. By the way, Deebo Samuel is actually a wide receiver. 5 catches, 39 yards. Kendrick Bourne, 2 catches, 42 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, 3 catches, 39 yards, a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, 3 catches, 38 yards. George Kittle, 4 catches, 36 yards.
I should have known something was wrong when Deebo Samuel got a reverse early in the first quarter. I should have known something was wrong when Kyle Shanahan was doing that cute stuff that early in the game.
I will say that Fred Warner, good job, because you played Patrick Mahomes very well on that first interception. Tre'Davious Moore, you lucky because Patrick Mahomes threw the ball behind Tyreek Hill. So there's your 2 turnovers from Patrick Mahomes. Don't worry, KC fan. We're going to get to our Super Bowl chance, but I got to focus on the 49ers on this one. I'm a Rams fan. Everybody knows that. But I'm still irked because I watched bad football play from a guy who was the backup quarterback for one of the greatest organizations in football. He was literally part of a team that everybody couldn't wait to lose.
He was supposed to be the heir apparent.
And you around here throwing footballs with your eyes closed in the Super Bowl. And everybody can see it.
Even his old coach, Belichick, was there. That's cruel irony of it.
But the quarterback was there too.
Oh, yeah, he was.
By the way, how everybody feel about that tweet that y'all talking about Tom Brady put out there now?
You got work. You got player.
Tom Brady out here putting out tweets and y'all losing y'all mind, but it was for a commercial, a Super Bowl commercial.
How much money does Hulu have in their marketing budget? God, dog. Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield, that's one thing. But Tom Brady at this point in his career, Jesus.
Tom Brady out here enjoying making commercials, and we got Jimmy Garoppolo out here throwing passes with his eyes closed.
Still in search. Kyle Shanahan is still in search.
Nick Bosa, you deserve the choir because you played your ass off.
Man, they had some slow-mos of when Nick Bosa was trying to do matrix tackles. People don't understand. Nick Bosa is a defensive end. That means that when he was in high school, he was a little bit bigger than a lot of people. Not everybody, but he was a little bit bigger than a lot of people. But he wasn't necessarily fast enough to be an outside linebacker, all that good stuff. When you're a defensive end, you're a lineman. People forget that defensive ends are linemen. This man was contorting his body and pursuing skill players like he was Sean Merriman out there. This man was playing more than his ass off. This man was trying to play in a new damn dimension. He was well worth the second overall pick.
Nevertheless, as we close this segment out and get ready to take a break, another NFC West team disappointing in the Super Bowl. We'll be back.
What a division.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and this I got all my frustration out the way. Let's get to the good part. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. It took 50 years to get there.
Jeez.
But you got there and you made it count. That's what matters. We already read Patrick Mahomes' number, but I read him off again. 26 for 42, 286, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, quarterback rating of 61.6, 9 carries, 29 yards. Should have been like 50 because if you don't count that final drive when you're trying to take knees and stuff, and a touchdown. Matter of fact, the first touchdown of the game came from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
When he fake pitched it, took a shot, but still got in the end zone. Matter of fact, Patrick Mahomes took a lot of shots in that game.
Oh, yeah, he did. But, you know, it's the Super Bowl, man. It's a Super Bowl. You're not here for a long time. You're here for a good time. And when you have an MVP one year and a Super Bowl the next, he's having a good time.
So, yeah, that took place. Damian Williamson, 17 carries, 104 yards, a touchdown. 4 receptions, 29 yards, a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 105 yards. Sammy Watkins, 5 catches, 98 yards. Travis Kelce, 6 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. That just read off 3 Kansas City receivers who all had more yards than the San Francisco receivers that I just ran off.
It's weird. You know, we're done with that phase of the show, but, you know, hey, hot players show up in hot games. And coaches that have been there before should know that you game plan to put those hot players in good situations. I was appalled and shocked that Tyreek Hill was lining up on Richard Sherman. But by the end of the game, where was Tyreek Hill? In the slot, on the other side, in bunch, in tight formations, while even though he was on Sherman, he had a chance to outside release or get him. They moved him around.
Speaking of Richard Sherman, you're not as off from this because I believe somebody called you deep.
Ooh.
That would be Sammy Watkins.
That one guy that Buffalo did draft in the first round. I mean, technically, he's worth the pick. He won a Super Bowl. He was a solid contributor for a Super Bowl winning team. So,
Sherman, you got beat deep, and I'm pretty sure Darrell Reeves let you know all about it on Twitter. I ain't have time to go look at it. To me, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, that beef is whatever. I mean, he was right about one thing. He said you're not going to be able to do that against Kansas City. You're going to have to cover. And he wasn't wrong. He did have to cover. But, you know, look, man, Andy Reid has had Terrell Owens. Andy Reid has not had Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid has had Travis Kelce. Andy Reid has had Jason Peters.
Yeah, Michael Vick.
Patrick Mahomes, as far as all-around quarterbacking, is a better quarterback than Michael Vick.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying. He had Michael Vick, too.
Well, no, but I'm naming, like, the best players he's had at his position for a reason. Because even in these losses, even in his, like, low moments, when Andy Reid had the best player at his position at a certain time, he utilized him. He passed the ball like crazy because he had a left tackle. He's passed the ball like crazy now because he has a quarterback. He's taking deep shots because he has a guy that's faster than everybody else. And by
the Legion of Zoom? I don't think I like that name. I don't think I like that name for them, Legion of Zoom.
Why do you think I haven't said it all year?
Hey, The Rock said it. That was the first time I actually heard of it.
I mean, I didn't like it when I heard it when they were blowing us out in Jacksonville. But so, I mean, what I'm saying is Andy Reid, and even when he did have Michael Vick, I don't think he had Michael Vick for that long, though. But even when he did have Michael Vick, like he builds offenses that utilizes his best players' strengths and weaknesses. Terrell Owens said, "Coach, I could play." He said, "Okay." And Terrell Owens had like 200 yards receiving with a broken leg. Andy Reid don't care. Andy Reid's not going to go out there and have George Kittle only catch 4 passes for 36 yards. He's not going to go out there and have a running back that just ran for 4 touchdowns only get 12 carries. He's not going to give a damn if it's 22 carries for 76 yards. If 2 touchdowns come out of it, it was worth it. Like, this whole everything works for 18 games, and then you get to the Super Bowl in the 4th quarter and decide this is why I have the franchise quarterback. Franchise quarterbacks win games. Sir, your father had a Hall of Fame running back who only played 5 seasons. He ran the ball, and he ran that running back into the ground. So, like, I mean, Tyreek Hill having 105 yards, that's a big player stepping up in a big game. Sammy Watkins having 98 yards, that's a guy who's trying to get paid. That's a guy who realized this is probably his best chance to get a ring. He capitalized on it. Travis Kelce getting a touchdown in the postseason game, what's new? Damian Wilson, though, out of all of this, is a surprise to me. 2 touchdowns, 130 plus all-purpose yards. Like, I was wondering, like I'm sure a lot of other people are wondering, why the hell is Shady not even dressed up? Shady ain't even getting snapped.
Yeah, he got a ring.
Hmm?
And he still got a ring.
Yeah, that's right. Shady done went out here and played in Philadelphia. Got cut by Chip Kelly, who, hindsight is 20/40 when it comes to Chip Kelly. Goes to Buffalo, toils in obscurity, has all-pro worthy years in Buffalo. Up there in a city that has less than 30,000 people in Orchard Park, New York. Comes to Kansas City. Kansas, basically Andy Reid's been doing him a solid. He's been letting him take up a roster spot. He's been letting him get paid. He's been letting him rest them weary and old bones. And Coach Reid did LaShawn McCoy a solid. Because Damian Williams has stepped up out here, only getting paid $1 million. And I went out here and won a Super Bowl with 20 plus touches. When Patrick Mahomes has 2 picks and then you look down the stat sheet and a running back has 100 yards for the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid's supposed to be an offensive coach, Darnell. 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver, 250-plus yard quarterback. Sounds like it was offensive coach's day.
Matter of fact, did Damian Williams deserve MVP or did Patrick Mahomes deserve MVP?
Well, you know, if you look at that second half with objective eyes, Damian Williams probably should have got it. But, you know, hey, come on, let's be real here. Patrick Mahomes didn't stink up the joint by any means. He had a rushing touchdown that started the game, ended up having 2 passing touchdowns. 10-point comeback, that's almost always going to go to the quarterback's credit. I mean, you know, if he would have had 14 more yards and had 300, I think it would have been undisputed. But I'm fine with Patrick Mahomes getting the MVP. MVP at this point is a quarterback's award. So even if it's Super Bowl MVP, you got to have a ridiculous behind game as a running back or receiver in this era of the Super Bowl to get MVP.
This dude here on 3rd and 15 did an 11-step drop back to throw a 45-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. 3rd and 15 against this 49ers defense.
And that's the thing that, you know, that's the main reason why I'm not upset with Patrick Mahomes getting MVP at all, because this was the number 1 ranked passing defense coming in. Got some deep shots, you know, definitely got some check downs, took the hits he needed to take. The rushing touchdown, I think, helps because it shows that he did on the ground and through the air. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he went up against the number 1 passing defense, went up against Nick Bosa, who had a Nick Bosa game. The rest of the defensive line was very solid. He went out there, he got it done, he scored 31 points. Now, he didn't score the 31 points, but the offense he led the entire night scored 31 points. It goes back to the thing that we said during the Texans game, Darnell. If you know before the game how much points the Kansas City Chiefs are going to put up, you have to figure out a way to put up those points. Bill O'Brien said we knew we were going to have to score 50 points to win. Well, why'd you only score 31? Kyle Shanahan had to be thinking to him. Maybe that's why he panicked and tried to throw the ball at Jimmy. Kyle Shanahan had to know, I have to score 35 points if I'm going to have a chance. Kansas City was only 4 short. It's like a drag race, bro. Like, you know, the first gear might be kind of slow, but good God, don't let him get the second. Please don't let him get the third. That Hoopty's only going to beat that Mustang for so long, Darnell. But, you know, what can you say? Patience is a virtue, I guess. And
this team was down 24, 10 twice, 10 in the Super Bowl, going to the fourth quarter. Who does that?
even though I don't want to give too much credit, I think that the combination of having the gusto to make the move from Alex Smith, last year's AFC Championship game appearance, and then this year's like 3 straight comebacks. I think I'm not these since 2017 when he drafted Patrick Mahomes, made the move to go from Alex Smith. I said it before the podcast, he would have to win to cash in on a Hall of Fame spot. But I think when they look back in history and look back at what Andy Reid did in this 2-year stretch to win this Super Bowl, his first Super Bowl, I think that's going to be it. I think the 5 NFC Championship games with Donovan McNabb, who, as history goes on, we realize was a very good quarterback, might not have been a great quarterback, surely wasn't a Hall of Famer. 5 NFC champions with that quarterback, a revamped and revitalized Michael Vick. Then coming to Kansas City and making Alex Smith look like the number 1 pick he was always supposed to be. I think now that he has the Super Bowl and the tough decision he had to make to get this snowball to the Super Bowl rolling, I think this is it. Now the question is, Darnell, how much longer is he gonna go? Is he gonna wait until Patrick Mahomes is done? Is he gonna let Patrick Mahomes, ride off into the sunset without him? Because I feel like at this point in his career, 60 plus, finally got a ring, 222 wins. I don't think he's gonna wait for another young quarterback. I think he's finally found his trusted steed, and I don't think that Andy Reid at this stage in his career is going to try to do it all over again when Patrick decides it's done. I don't think this is going to be a Belichick-Brady scenario.
So, Kansas City, Super Bowl champions. Party will be in Missouri, not Kansas President Trump.
Jesus Lord. If you play more Madden, you realize it's the Kansas City, Missouri.
Hell, you the president of the United States. You should know that anyway.
Or at least have somebody whisper into your ear, but, hey.
So, party in the Midwest.
Well, hell, no. Well, hell. Have the party in Kansas, too. It's the same market. Yeah, go ahead. The Saints went to Mississippi, Alabama, and Pensacola when they won their Super Bowl. Hell, stretch that party out. It's been 50 years.
You said stretch it out, so.
I said stretch it because if the Jaguars ever won, they going to Orlando, Gainesville, Tallahassee, Marietta. They going everywhere.
So that's that. Pat Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, and a Super Bowl champion. Just 3 years in the league.
Yeah, 2-year stretch as a starter, 3 years in the league, period. And you got to think, dude, he learned behind Alex Smith, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Aaron Rodgers learned behind Brett Favre and Tom Brady. So, Aaron Rodgers came out the gate super hot. I'm not going to have recency, but he came out the gate super hot, but bro. Now the problem is Aaron Rodgers came out super hot. Now Patrick Mahomes has came out super hot. It's one thing to be the kind of quarterback that is a game breaker and consistently has your team competing for championships. It's another to be a Drew Brees or Dan Marino that has a lot of pretty stats. But after you got that ring, what happened?
Not unless you Dan Marino who never got it.
Exactly. Dan Marino had a hell of a lot of stats. Pretty footballs. Pure thrower. But he got to that one Super Bowl early in his career, didn't win it. Aaron Rodgers won it pretty early as a starter. The Mike McCarthy partnership was looking good. Lo and behold, got a new coach. Things happen. So Darnell, they basically this has basically been a statistics test, a science test, a probability test, whatever field of mathematics this goes under. Patrick Mahomes is the common denominator. They were doing good with Alex Smith. Some will probably say they're doing great, depending on which team they're a fan of. But the switch to Patrick Mahomes, AFC Championship game 1 year, Super Bowl championship the next. I mean,
So, with all that being said, that's it for me. Because my intention is turning into basketball, college basketball, and the NBA. So, for the next probably 10 minutes, I'm going to turn over to Dallas to give y'all a taste of what's coming for the offseason show of the NFL with Dallas Glenn. Go ahead.
well, as everybody knows, as we go from the Super Bowl in the end of one season, we transition into free agency hype and the start of the next season. Free agency doesn't start until the first week of March. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out some stuff to talk about. We're going to figure out likely scenarios. For example, one huge name that's out in the market right now is Jalen Ramsey. Other names like that, we're going to try to figure out where they're going to go and who they're going to go to and what's the likelihood. We're going to try to scour all the credible sources because, everybody has a rumor. But we're going to try to scour all the credible sources, and we're going to try to give you all the relevant free agent news as it happens. Remember, this is always on tape delay. But, breaking news can happen while we're recording. And after the real big free agency buzz is over, that should be NFL scouting combine time. Gonna see who's rising, gonna see who's falling, gonna see if anybody that we talked about a lot, Joe Burrow, during the college football podcast is making some waves. And then by the time we really get all that done, because there's so many prospects, you gotta think of the small school gyms, gotta think of the Mel Kiper and Todd McShay mock drafts, all that good stuff. By then, you should be ready for Thursday night in the first round in Las Vegas. By then, you should be ready for day 2 on Friday, and by then you should be ready for day 3 on Saturday. And we're going to have a big behind podcast covering that thing too, because, the Jaguars and the Rams, they have needs. They have holes to fill. And I'm sure both me and Darnell have opinions on what holes should be filled. And hopefully the NFL draft addresses that. So, by then you should be tired. Because it's OTAs. So, from free agency to the draft, we're going to give you what you want. We're going to give you what you need. You don't have to go nowhere. You don't have to follow nobody else. You can stop clicking those RSS feed buttons because they're not going to update nothing. You need to come back here. You need to come back home. You need to stay right where you're at. Because I got you, baby. I'm always going to have you. However, once the Olympics starts, don't nobody care about no training camp.
And there you have it. So, yes, I'll be focused on the NBA All-Star Weekend coming up next week. I got a college basketball episode for you guys coming up this week as well. I got it. Because, Saturday is Rivalry Day Saturday. You got them Tar Heels and Blue Devils getting together. Those Spartans and Wolverines getting together. And some more interesting games to look at. So, I'm going to give you those. We're going to look at NBA All-Star Weekend and what all changes that they made as we know now, they are honoring Kobe Bryant. I get into the whole format thing like that, but that's how I would say this. LeBron James' team will be ran 2 for Kobe's daughter, and Giannis' team will be ran 24 for Kobe Bryant.
Well,
and speaking of Kobe Bryant, I'm gonna get into LeBron James and the LA Lakers. It's been a slow start since the death of Kobe Bryant out in Laker Nation.
It's this thing called morning.
And yet, back to college basketball, there's no dominant team. So, so trying to figure out how your bracket gonna work, you definitely gonna have to wait till March for when we reveal these brackets, because there's no dominant team. Lucky enough, we finally got a team that can keep number 1 for almost a whole month in the Baylor Bears.
Man, this might be the first year since that one Kansas team did it that we're going to have a team with double-digit losses win a national title. I think even Kentucky already has like 4.
And speaking of basketball, Dallas, women's college basketball, I happened to catch the Oregon and UConn game, and I hate to break it to everybody, UConn is no longer feared in college basketball.
Well, it can't last forever, Darnell. Sweet Jesus.
So, look out for the South Carolina Gamecocks, the Oregon Ducks, who, by the way, who went into Connecticut and beat them by 19 in a 3-4 matchup.
UConn fans, don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened. You were the show in the great state of Connecticut for a very long time.
So it seemed like the powers that used to be are no longer feared.
You know, it's good. It's good. The UConn team helped put basketball on the map, and it got to a point where we needed extra teams to step up. So it's good.
So I'm interested in women's basketball too, so I might talk some women's basketball. We'll see. Anything else? Oh, you did bring up the Olympics, correct? So, ladies and gentlemen, during this summer, from July 24th to August 9th, it's the 2020 Olympics out in Tokyo. We will be doing episodes for the Olympics. Dallas will get to do something that he's been wanting to do for a while. He's going to cover the track Olympics. Anybody early that we know of that you looking forward to seeing run track?
Brianna Williams and Shakira Richardson. That's going to be a ridiculous women's 1 and 200 final. The throwers, Frederick Dawkins from Jamaica, Ryan Krauser, Joe Kovacs. I'm always happy to see them compete in everything. But as far as right now, I'm hoping at Mississippi State's. His name escapes me right now, but Mississippi State's former javelin thrower, I'm hoping he makes the team. Because at one point he was the world leader in a off year. So I've got some people I'm looking at. I'm a thrower. So people just have to understand that while I do pay attention to the sprints like everybody else, I'm always trying to give the throwers some shine.
I will be covering the basketball portion of the Olympics, the men's and the women. So looking forward to see how can the women continue their dominance in the Olympics, and the men's, they already know what's up. They already know what's up after what they showed in that goddamn world.
It's gonna have a tough decision to make.
So Steph Curry is supposed to return in March for the Golden State Warriors. I don't even want Steph Curry to return. I want him to come back for the Olympics.
Exactly. I was just about to say, bro, you're tanking. Stop it.
Because imagine what would happen if I do a podcast. Not even me. If everybody does a podcast or come on TV, and the men's did not go for the gold.
That's going to be an issue. Because if you send Steph Curry out there, you're sending out a 2-time MVP and a 3-time champion. You're sending out. You're going to have NBA players around him. You just need to let the world know that, hey, we're not just going to roll out here. We're not just going to be comfortable. We don't just think we got it like that. We tried to have John Wall at one point in the Worlds, and it went terribly. No wonder it took John Wall so long to make a national team. Good God.
So yes, we'll be covering the Olympics. I might even cover tennis because I do watch tennis in my off times.
Well, I wonder why.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Novak Djokovic winning the Australian Open for the 8th consecutive, for his 8th title, and he did it for Kobe Bryant. So next up is the French, and then we get to Wimbledon before we get to Olympics, and then it should be the U.S. Open. So I might cover some tennis for you guys. So, and then we got 2 other people that's gonna come on, and they're gonna cover whatever they want to cover. We'll talk about that off air, stuff like that. So it is what it is, and that's about it. So if you're looking for wrestling, I don't know what to tell you.
Business decisions, people. Budgeting time and budgeting money. When you lose $1 billion, you lose coverage too.
So I will say this: having Ricochet versus Brock Lesnar in Super Showdown, I'm not too interested in.
Brother, to think you called me about that before. I feel bootleg it, please. Bootleg it. Don't pay that $9.99. Don't do that to yourself. Don't say you're a loyal fan for 30 years. Don't show me your action figure collection. Don't show me your T-shirts. Don't pay for that pay-per-view when it is in the middle of a workday.
Not only that, it's just before WrestleMania.
Mind you, a guy from Raw won the Royal Rumble. Hasn't announced who he's going to face yet. You have a triple threat match.
He definitely announced who he was going to face.
Oh my God! We'll see. Hey.
It's the same man he claymored over the top rope.
And that makes sense. That's the storyline. So thank God. But hey, look, you got a guy who's going to face that guy at WrestleMania, and then you have a triple threat match so that guy can be a big name on the pay-per-view. I mean, why don't you? I don't know, Darnell. Why don't they just bring a big ass cage over there? Why is everything gotta be a title match? At this point, the poor Saudi Arabian people. Well, it ain't poor, but bro, you know a title ain't changing hands at this glorified ass house show. Stop asking for title matches. You're not gonna get no title change. Ricochet is not winning the WWE Championship.
So that's that. But I am interested in the storyline between Charlotte Flair, the Queen, and Rhea Ripley.
Oh God, if Charlotte Flair, if they pull that trigger, and have Charlotte Flair wrestle for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania, because you think to yourself, Darnell, I mean, yeah, she's won the NXT Championship before, but it'd be different now.
They already have. Rhea Ripley showed up on Raw.
It would be very different now. It will be very different now because you start asking yourself, well, what else is there for Charlotte to do? I'm tired of seeing her on Raw. I'm tired of seeing her on SmackDown. I'm tired of her always going against the same people. Well, start the fantasy booking, start the book cooking, start the mathing, start the mathematics, Darnell, because I'm trying to figure out the probabilities here. Charlotte Flair on Wednesday nights, or Rhea Ripley getting a win against how many titles does she have at this point, including briefcases and Royal Rumbles? She's a daddy now, so.
Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. You know everything. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Twitter. Matter of fact, you can catch us on RTS Sports Network. We're expanding. What can I say? We're making moves.
Just type the name in on Google and click it, and chances are it's there.
And by this summer, we can give y'all some merchandises. So, that was Glenn from Pensacola over there, down at the Playmakerz Sounders here from Jacksonville. Signing off.
It's nice to know that the Titans never had